Grind Tribe, what's going on? We got an amazing and live episode in store for you guys today. I got my man, Mr. OG, Michael James, in the house. Michael James is the premier stylist and image consultant, founder of the Organic Gentlemen's Club, personally my stylist, and the man of the hour. Mr. Michael James, how you doing today, brother?
Thank you very much, King. It's a pleasure to be on this show today. Thank you. That was a warm introduction, I gotta say.
Well, thank you, brother. You know how I do it. So let me ask you a question, man. Who is Michael James, and how did you arrive at styling?
Let's say, who is Michael James? That's okay. Well, how did I arrive at styling? We'll go from there. Initially started off as a men's fashion blog, and growing up, always been a fan of fashion. I was have to take after my mother, most importantly, but always was into fashion. And growing up playing video games, youngest out of three with my brothers, I would always be spending more time creating a character. So that kind of sparked my interest there, and then that energy just progressed into from middle school to high school, and up until like me styling one of my best friends our whole senior year, and then going into college, post college, working in corporate. Got inspired by a podcast to start a men's fashion blog, and so that's how that's. From a Reader's Digest standpoint, that's how I really got into the whole fashion thing.
Right. Okay. So it sounds like you kind of been curating your style here for your talent here for a long time. Within that process, where was the inception of Organic Gentlemen? I know you specifically spoke to the fact that you learned it from a podcast, but when did Michael James meet Organic Gentlemen? I guess building back on that story a little bit.
Okay, fair enough. So I was working in corporate. I don't want to say the name of the store, but it was a paint store, and literally I was a manager in training, having to unload a lot of shipment in the back. Like that was like one of my main jobs, and so literally had a muscle strain in my back one day.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, they had you doing bad in there, man.
So like they had me primarily unload this truck all the time, and I'm just like, damn, this sucks. And it was just like a bunch of things were clicking. So like I remember one day I was watching the news, and they were talking about a criminal, and the person happened to be black, and I'm just like, I want to do something, and I definitely want to be able to make change. And the biggest thing is there's a common misconception about being a minority, being a black person, is that we're thugs, criminals, X, Y, and Z, because that's how we're always portrayed. So I'm like, people always say that I dress well, but it's not. The key is it doesn't cost a lot of money to dress well. It's just a matter of putting things together. And if you could change anything, you could change how people perceive you in a sense by changing your appearance. So, working at this job pissing me off. That initiated me wanting to educate people how to dress well and how to do so on an affordable budget.
Wow. Okay, I like that, man. I like that.
Sorry. And going back, so Organic Gentleman is short for OG. So growing up, having OGs who are mentors to like kind of show you the ropes. An OG is anybody who's willing to show you, pretty much see you as a seed and invest in you and allow you to pretty much show you the ropes. So understanding that concept and tapping into that. So that's where OG really came from.
Interesting. Let's talk about the psychology of style. I think that there's a little bit of intersection here, specifically when he spoke to the fact that you were in a position where you're working a strenuous job. All of a sudden, you look over in the TV. There's a description of a criminal being displayed, and you're like, nah, I got to do something about this, right? Let's talk about the psychology of style in itself, and I want you to dig a little deep into how much of the internal portion is involved with going through an image transformation. How do you, or for better yet, to kind of dumb down that question a little bit, how do you transform people from the inside out?
It's a number one, it's exposure. So being able to identify with certain things, like some people might never want to put on a suit, but never actually wore one, or they've had like this experience wearing suits and being in church and like having that big boxy suit.
Yeah,
so,
that's the reason I didn't wear suits for a while, man.
Yeah, like nah, I never want to put this on again. Like I understand why, but yeah, it's a matter of the psychology. It's like, you know, we all know how it feels to put on something that makes us feel good. You look a little different. You might be like, okay. Well,
That's a big fact. I do that every day.
All right. So just like that psychology behind that. Not saying like, you know, clothing, the image is everything, but having something that allows you to see your true self. You know, that's the real key. It's like, you know, you can put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig, but
right.
You know, if you know, one beautiful thing when I styled a young man, he was in high school, and we literally put on, you know, suit, tie, the whole nine. He comes out of the fitting room, looks in the mirror, and just starts dying laughing, just like, yo, I can't even believe this is me. But he was in his bag. He appreciated it.
Right.
And so it's like, you know, having that, seeing that within yourself. You know, we all understand how it feels to put on something that makes us feel good.
I like that. True to self. I think that some of the things that we often are challenged with, and especially today, is literally trying to figure out how we can stay grounded. Because there's so much information out there. There's so much. We have everybody else's lifestyle on demand. Sometimes we don't listen to our own journey. And I specifically want you to speak to what are some of your values and how have your values changed since the inception of Organic Gentleman?
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. What are some of my values and how have they changed since Organic Gentleman?
Yeah.
I would say that one of the biggest changes for me is the concept of vulnerability, and how vulnerability is a strength. It can be. So the essence of like relying on your circle, your core circle, being able to express things, whether that's personal, relationships, everything under the sun, that you are going through, and essentially it will allow you to grow,
right?
Because you're being able to express that versus trying to walk around with the mask and acting like everything's okay. But this doesn't mean to go on, you know, vulnerability in the sense of like, oh, let me just blab all my stuff out to everybody. No, it's just like, you know what, I'm not perfect, or you know what, this is an area and opportunity for me. So I'd say those are one of the biggest things being an OG has taught me, because I'm not perfect and I have people under me, and it would be wrong of me to act like, oh, like, you know, I got everything covered, I got everything figured out. Because we all need to be checked from time to time, and that's the reality of it. That's how, you know, checking the ego, etc. So like, understand, I mean, vulnerability, the ego.
So the ego. Let's talk about that real quick. I'm sure that you may get a lot of prospects sometimes, the people that want you to style them, that want to be styled for the wrong reason. Maybe they want to look cool, or they just want to do it for the image, or to feel cool, or for Instagram. You know, we've had multiple conversations on the role of ego, especially as young males, and how its main goal is to destroy us. What do you feel has been your personal journey with identifying your ego, and how do you pull that back, right? And then go into this process of when you're curating somebody's style, and to make sure that they're not trying to become or to have better style based off their ego, but really based on what's inside of them and what can serve them.
Well, see, this is the beauty of it, the consultation. The consultation's free. And from there, that's the beauty of that, what I do. Like, the consultation is free, and I get to understand what is the why. And if you're in it like, oh, I want to start bagging these girls, and I want to be doing this and that, like, no, it's not going to work, because, you know, me as a stylist, it's really about dressing. It's about connecting them from A to B. They already have a sense of style.
Right.
But if it's for the wrong reasons, I can't connect them to the B, because that's not pure and real. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of like, if in let's say in fashion terms, that's like just going off of trends.
Right.
So if that were the case, if I were to style an individual like that, it's like, all right, everything that's a trend, you want the latest that. who's wearing this, that, versus like dressing you how you truly want to present yourself.
Interesting. So what happens when you do have a client that is specifically trying to use your services to fuel their ego? Do you take the approach of trying to change your mindset, or do you just tell them like, yo, you're not the right fit for me?
To be transparent, that hasn't come about to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that's how it would go down too.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, I wouldn't be able to work with somebody who's just
Right.
it wouldn't align with who I am and my true values,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not helping them grow as an individual.
Interesting.
It's all surface based. So it's just like, I don't know if I could really. But who knows? I haven't
Right.
crossed that bridge yet. But not saying that I can't do it, but it just really doesn't. It doesn't align with what Organic Gentleman stands for at the end of the day.
So is styling your purpose or an assignment? Meaning, is styling your vehicle to ultimately what you want to do for people, or do you feel like you were put on this earth to style to do what you do with styling?
I'll say do what I do with styling, because being it's beyond the clothes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of allowing people to see their true selves and providing value. So I always wanted to be able to give back to people,
Right.
give back to others, and understanding fashion is a real vehicle, because wherever you are wearing clothes, and no matter what stage and what platform you are, you have a presentation to maintain.
Big facts.
So, I don't see like that being the end all be all, but if it aligns with me being able to truly motivate and push the culture forward, and they are being able to identify with themselves through style, I'm 100% for that. But in the same token, I'm not opposed to having me being a stylist be a vehicle to allow me to accomplish the same goals.
Interesting. So for any of you who may not have caught a little bit in the beginning of the episode, I mentioned how Michael James here is actually my stylist. So I still remember the first time I approached you, man. It was through Instagram DM. And I said, hey, man, listen, I just graduated from college. I'm going to run a startup and be a full-time entrepreneur. I need to be able to dress in a way that every day I look at myself and I feel comfortable in the bigger shoes that I'm stepping in. So being that I was already coming to with that internal transformation, we went through the process of being styled. And I want you to explain a little bit more, what is the first three steps you take when styling somebody, specifically from going from their goals to their wardrobe?
Mm-hmm. Going from the goals to the wardrobe. So initially, first off, first is a consultation. That's where we get to dissect and really understand where you're going, like you just explained. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it depends what we're doing. If we're going straight into getting ready for a function, or we're going to, really rebuild the wardrobe, or there's a specific project at hand, I usually always recommend the wardrobe edit, like what we did. Mm-hmm. So this gives me the opportunity to see where your eye is for style, what are the areas of opportunity. Grab the clothes that you don't need and get rid of them.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's either I always recommend that we go shopping together, so you really understand. I'm walking you through the process, and you have a clear understanding why we're going with these pairs of pants versus those ones, and why you shouldn't be having this versus that. So really make beyond the clothes, but understanding the whole process behind why I'm doing what I'm doing, and at the same time, it's building the trust where the client, i.e. yourself, gets to see everything on them and like, oh, okay, like this is what I was trying to do the whole time. Okay, I see where you're going with this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I like about that process, bro? Honestly, it gave me that peace of mind, because you only get a certain level of peace of mind in 24 hours, right? You got to worry about business, you got to worry about this, you got to worry about family, finance, all these different things. I knew that based on the trajectory I was moving in, I was not going to have enough time to be thinking about how I can be dressing the best and bringing my best self to the best table, to bringing my best self to the table, right? So therefore, when I hired you, it really saved me so much time. It saved me so much money. It was the right investment, because not only did I externally, get to feel good, but I gained that confidence. I gained that peace of mind, and I did exactly what I wanted to. But speaking specifically to that, like, what I'm trying to get the Grind Tribe to understand here is that Michael James is a coach. and he's an investment. And specifically, when we go into the investment pillar, right? What are you putting your time, energy, and money into? You know, that's the question we always got to ask ourselves. And are the things that we putting our time, money, and energy into allowing us to grow? So I want you to speak to, you know, outside of my testimony, what do you think is, or when do you think is the proper time to invest in a stylist? You know, and what do you think the outcome of that investment is?
Oh, fair enough. So the best time I believe somebody to invest in a stylist is, number one, they must want to do it, because it requires a big effort. Requires you to step outside of your comfort zone, having a stylist. And this individual might be not only that, stepping outside the comfort zone, but their image is important. You know, how they carry themselves, whether it's you know, on social media, into the public eye. They're constantly in the public eye.
Right.
So that's a big thing. And then what the end result of that is A, being able to save time, because they're not out there making the investment into their clothes, which we all wear clothes,
Right.
and money, most importantly, because I'm out there working on the budget that they set for themselves.
I like that, man. I like that. It's because it's very purposeful, it's intentful, right? I think that a lot of times we think we have to invest in things that we're sometimes not ready for. I kind of want to spill over into the mindset pillar here, right? And the mindset pillar here in the Grind Tribe is, does your attitude, your self-awareness, and your work ethic reflect the person that you want to be? And part of that attitude, part of that self-awareness is understanding when and when not you should do things. Now, just speaking to that pillar alone, what are the throughout this process, right? Styling people, curating people's image, growing from who you are, understanding your purpose, and jumping into even what you're doing right now, what has changed in your mindset along the way?
Okay, I would say the biggest change in my mindset would be, it's okay to not know something. You know, it's okay not to know. You know, I think we always try to put so much focus on, like, you gotta have everything figured out. You have to have X, Y, and Z, or by a certain period and so forth. But just really I mean, I'm a very lax individual,
Right.
And I know, like, that a lot, like, people look at me crazy, like, oh, how are you so relaxed and da 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 da.
Right.
But the reality of it is, sometimes, like, not sometimes, but I'm growing to appreciate the concept of not knowing. You know, I'll say that's because there's beauty within that. Because there's a point in time where we just didn't know what we know today. There's a time where I didn't know how to truly style and dress. There was times where I was wearing pants that were bigger than my shirt, like baggy pants and a slim shirt.
Right.
Like, I experienced all that. You know, so embracing the beauty and not knowing.
I've never heard that one before, man. That's powerful, my brother. So before we jump into the end here, I got some questions I want to fire off at you. Where can the audience catch Michael James? Please drop your social handles here, brother.
Fair enough. On Instagram, OG Michael James. That's my personal account. Business is at Organic Gentleman. The website organicgentlemensclub.com. But definitely, most importantly, Instagram is like one of the easiest ways to connect.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. So I got a couple questions for you, man. I got 3 questions for you. The first one is, what does your wellness routine holistically look like?
Meditating is a big one. Eating well, exercising, listening to some good music, speaking to loved ones. I think that's part of the wellness routine. Making sure I'm speaking to loved ones, and
Number 2, what is one way somebody can find more alignment in their lifestyle just through taking the next step to elevate their image?
Okay, so this requires them to address the problem. Address the problem in the sense of, like, maybe I could just start dressing a little bit better. Maybe there's something, like, I can make this change. I could dress better. And the concept is thinking, like, all right, where would you want to dress maybe like a year from now or 5 years? What does that ideal image look like? That's like the very first step. And then if you're having trouble with that, really start identifying what style looks like for you. Whether you're on Pinterest, on Instagram, like, there's somebody there's somebody that that you could identify with a good sense of style. Like, you might not know how to put it together, but that's where I come.
Big facts, big
Yeah.
facts. All right, brother. And my last question: how can you identify when your ego is taking control of a situation? We gonna have to end off with that either, bro.
Okay. How can you identify when your ego is taking control of the situation?
Yep.
I mean, number one, I don't have all the answers. Two, it's still a work in progress. But I think the ego, one of the biggest thing, the egos, and I'm a Cancer too as well. A lot of people like to identify being an emotional as a weakness, but in reality, it's not. So don't go crazy. But I would say, just being, I would say one thing that I'm still learning is just like not to react off the emotions, like trying to be more understanding. Like for instance, like there's an educational portion to Organic Gentlemen too as well. So working with the youth, and it's like, why do you keep doing that? But it's like, all right, you know what? Where's this kid coming from? Understanding like he or she is X age, but taking into consideration, they might be wearing the same shirt to school every single day. Coming to school is their safe ground. So like, you know what, like
Kind of stepping back and looking at the other side first.
Exactly. And it's still a work in progress, but just understanding that, like, all right, it's cool, like, and just being able to tap in some other energy, like, you know what, you making all that noise, you know what, you're gonna be a great singer. What do you want to do? Okay, but
Reversing the expectation.
Yeah, exactly. Like tapping into that inner genius. But yeah, just so not, the key, I would say the key is, which still learning, still in the progress, is not reacting off the emotions. So not let that plays into the ego, because the ego is
Interesting. Well, my brother, thank you for coming through, dropping those jewels. Grind Tribe, I hope you had an amazing listen today. Got some great key takeaways. And as always, I want y'all to keep on grinding, keep on hustling, but more importantly, I want y'all to ditch the idea of balance and get your ass aligned. Peace.